Hello, it's Andrew at Gongs Unlimited, and we're doing another in a series of getting your communication with the divine, with God, more clear using sound healing. And in this case, we're just going to use something simple, a 14-inch Atlantis gong. Now, a lot of people feel the only way you can really clean someone out fully so that they can hear their intuition, hear the divine guidance, is by using something like, let's say, a 60-inch Paiste symphonic gong. But, sometimes I say for subtle spiritual work, that's like bringing an elephant into a place where a mouse would work. I always like to reference, I've seen several videos of Hmong shamans, that's Hmong, Hmong shaman from Laos and the mountains of Laos, and they'll clean out spirits out of a person's head using like a 10-inch gong. I'm using something a little bit bigger. They'll be like, wah, 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 and then you see a spirit go whoosh, fly out. We're not going to be doing something as violent as that. You're lucky, Josh. We're not going to be going, wow, 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 wow. I cleaned out the spirit and you're deaf. Nor are we going to need the ultra strong power, because we're working on a subtle level. And what we're going to work on today, clearing out blocks to hearing God or spiritual guidance, is oddly enough sort of a physical part of our body, the brain. But the brain in the sense where it holds thoughts. It holds things. I worked on this morning, and for example, the brain, we get programmed growing up. Sometimes it's good programming, like don't walk across the street when there's a red light or you will get hit by a car and die. Sort of survival programming. And then other times it might be religious or spiritual programming. Like I recall once, even this morning, it was like, in my family, it's a Jewish family that, ran away from the Russians that were killing Jews. And so there was a certain level of like succeed or die. When you got to the new country, you had to make a lot of money or you would die. So there was a certain level of programming, like I said, succeed or die. So I could never relax and kind of get intuition or guidance from God of like, what should I do next to make sure my family's taken care of? I was always just like, doesn't matter. I'm just going to run really hard because if not, I'm all going to die. Because that programming from the family line was in there. It might not just be family line. It could be also like programming that girls get, like, if you're not looking this way, you are not attractive, or you're not fab. All the stuff that's cultural. Or if you're this race, you're this way. If you're that, so there's all kinds of ways that then can cut off those thoughts. That programming floats around your brain and can cut you off from a more true relationship with the divine. It's pretty simple. So what we're going to do is just kind of let Josh close his eyes. We're going to take this little gong, though I've been holding it in my left arm for a while, so it's starting to feel like a big gong. Take this little gong and just kind of hit it and kind of see gently. And Josh, you can kind of just imagine yourself behind your eyes and just kind of let the brain light up. What is my intention here? So I'm even going to hook up the sound to the divine force, to Christ force energy. Hooking up that sound and watching what's going on with his brain. I'm kind of doing a CAT scan here, kids, but with sound and clairvoyance. And I see something there, kind of in his back part of his brain. And it basically says, he's not worthy. Josh, you can't make things happen unless you fix everyone around you first. It's a healing kind of programming. And if I go down here, I see it's tied into his second and third chakras. So it makes it hard, I would say. I'm going to take a look at this. If I take a look at the energy, that Josh has to heal others first. That's the programming before he heals himself. Makes it hard for Josh. Whenever he starts to try to create something for himself, there's a depression, there's a exhaustion in his arm channels, the creativity. And it's a survival level. Looks like someone in his family saw that Josh was a very capable soul and kind of got him hooked in on that. He might have also picked up if his mom or other relatives were like that. So I'm just kind of letting the sound. And Josh, as a spirit right now, is kind of noticing it. And he's going, how the heck do I get this out of here? I see it. And I don't know, I'm just going to leave. Who cares? No, we'll go back and find out how we're going to get it. While I'm using sound, I'm going to kind of call, kind of looks like Jesus is coming down, God's going to come down, because we're talking about getting Josh's communication better. And let's be clear, the divine, God, Jesus, they want us to hear them more. They want us to communicate with them more. We're walking around here going, oh, there's no big picture out there. We're just all in this ball of heated water. We're all going to die. And then you're missing the point. You've got caught up in that programming. It's kind of like what's called an atheist level. It's an atheist level where you don't have it. So they're kind of coming down. They're starting to de-energize that in the back of his brain. It also goes up to his mouth where Josh can't. That programming in the brain that says that then affects him in different ways. It affects the back of the fifth chakra where Josh can't always ask for things for himself. He's doing better at it now. Then there's the third chakra where there's an emptiness. That programming has made his third chakra a little empty. And where it's empty, Josh, is where you haven't put enough new things, like you've kind of like depleted. It's like, okay, I've gotten these two great things. I can't keep asking for everything else. It's just going to pass by. And I don't mean like, oh, I got to ask to win the lotto. I got to ask for, just things that you're trying to create that might help you, help others. So they're going through and they're showing you as a spirit right now, there's a line from brain, line of energy to around this third chakra that is going empty. Don't ask for too much or you'll be punished. A lot of people have this in some form or another. This is not something specific to Josh. He's the only one in the world. So if you're watching this, you might see what's going to happen as we're talking about this and the energy's starting to loosen up. What you're experiencing. I see that brain stuff has been de-energized and now it's kind of going down. There's a little bit of muck here. The great thing about this video is if you're watching this at home and you have something similar you can work on and ask for it to be released. You can ask for it to be released in your thing. Now, I'm starting to see some more strength, some energy flow coming through Josh's arms now where he can have something for himself. He's like realizing, oh, it's really important to notice. If you can take care of yourself better, you can do bigger and better healings for people. If you're a healer in natural, if you want to help people. But if you're depleted because like, I can't have anything, I have to only fix up, then you eventually become someone who needs healing yourself. Because what have you done? You've given it all away and you haven't replenished yourself. I'm not saying every healer needs to go to Bali for 3 weeks and eat lots of fruit. You can find all sorts of ways to replenish yourself. Nothing wrong with Bali. I'm just saying some people are like, I have to replenish myself. I have to go to Hawaii for 3 weeks and play with the dolphins. So that's the only way I can. No. Take some time for yourself, whatever it is. Go to yoga class in town. Sometimes that's all you need. Go meditate. Josh's aura is looking a lot better. Now when I look at his brain, again, I'm removing kind of atheistic control energy from his brain. Starting to fill up. His fifth chakra still got a little bit of stuff there they're working on. He's like, I'm not sure I can really ask for things. 80% of them's doing okay, but it's the last 20%. And there's a brilliant gold energy starting to fill up those spaces. So I'm doing it just kind of gently allowing the sound to be connected to the divine energy and letting the divine energy, even with or without the sound, but work it. And they're kind of saying right now, Josh, in your mind, in your brain, ask for something that you need or that you really want. And just let's watch what happens as you're doing that. You don't know right away, or if you do, start to let me know. You can like move your hand or something when you know you're started to ask for it. So I can, okay. All right, you do that. I'm going to kind of watch it here. what's happening is going into his fourth chakra. And he's like going, yes, I can have it now, because that block that was in there that said, no, you can't. And as that happens, it sort of radiates out and it puts a gold energy in his feet chakras because he can move his path that way. It's going down his arms. You're still working a little bit on your arms and your hands. And that's where it's like, well, sometimes this hasn't worked out before. And those are things you just have to start to forgive yourself or forgive the universe for. Why didn't it work out? Well, maybe you had a bit of programming in your head that said, can't work out. You can only have something after you've healed 1,500 people within a 1 mile radius, or whatever the rules were. There, it's getting much more grounded. I see what's happening. It's starting to get into grounding. The first chakra is accepting of it. Yeah. So you don't have to tell us what it is, Josh, but I hope it works out for you. How's that? Now I'm going to shush for a second. And Josh, do you want to just talk about anything you experienced during this healing?
Yeah. It's movement of that energy. I laid down originally feeling jagged, I don't know, like overwhelmed, anxious, but not having solid reason to. And I felt
I was getting him tuned up for it. I was asking, I was getting you tuned up before the...
Yeah, I felt a kind of softening into a smoothness.
Now, did you feel anything in your brain when that was getting worked on?
Yeah, I felt a world wrap around my mind that of release. I felt my self comfort. I felt comfort in myself, not in my character. I felt like a deepening comfort.
Well, that makes sense, because if you think you can only get something for yourself until you've showed the world what a great healer you are, or you helped all these people. That's your character, right?
Yeah.
My character is, I've helped this many people. Look what a good person I am. Then I can,
Yeah, and I felt this wonderful release of this almost sickness I have of control, of doing all the doing that I need to do something right, even like I need to relax right. And there was a release, a letting go of my doing, and like a receiving, a sense of receiving, and that felt like fluid sunlight from my brain, from my mind, unblocked.
A lot of that was in your third chakra, and that was one of the first places we were working on, was the third chakra, because that's how we create the world, how we do. It's like, even doing the healing, I'm a little charged up there. I'm going to release this energy separately, but yeah. And if you've been watching this and following along, you may have experienced some of that too. And however you like to release energy, however you do it, take a walk, meditate, yoga stretch, ponder it, you can release that stuff too. Yeah, so that's great. See that, but the whole premise was we were going to where there's programming in the brain, sort of an atheist energy that says you can't just have the divine, or the only way you can have things or have the divine is by doing A, B, or C, and that's the programming. So that's another one in our series of clearing out your communication with God, with the divine, and I hope you watch the series as it progresses, and because it would be all great if all of us were in better communication with God. I'm still working on it. You're still working on it. Josh's still working on it. Only person not working on it is Brennan, the guy in the camera right there. All right. Thank you.